Archangel Michael says, "Heaven has seen a secret meeting, one held in the shadows of the unseen, where Satan whispered schemes against the children of God. Your name was spoken there, not in blessing, but in accusation. The heavens do not bring this to you in fear, but in mercy, because time is not promised and the spiritual battle for your soul is real, active, and growing louder. This is the final warning, not out of anger or threat, but from the very heart of God's deep, unending love that longs to draw you closer before it's too late." Type 777 if you walk by faith. In a quiet place beyond human sight, far above the earthly noise and distractions, there was a stirring. Angels moved in silence, aware of something grave taking place. The throne of heaven remained bright and full of peace, yet a ripple passed through the kingdom. Deep in the spiritual realms, darkness gathered, not with thunder or fire, but with quiet calculation. The enemy, the deceiver of souls, gathered his own in a secret meeting, whispering names, your name among them, planning delays, distractions, and destruction. My dear child, do not let go now, for the last 3 minutes of this video hold the key to something greater than you have imagined. Stay with me until the very end, for within those final words your blessing is waiting to be revealed. You may not have felt it, but the moment your name was spoken, heaven moved. Archangel Michael, protector of God's people, was sent forth, not with a sword of destruction, but with a message of truth. This is that message: your soul is precious, and heaven has watched every moment of your life with love. Nothing you've done has gone unnoticed, and nothing you've suffered has been ignored. The enemy wants to pull you away from your purpose, but God's love wants to lift you into healing, joy, and eternal belonging. Even now, God's Spirit reaches toward your heart, not with judgment, but with open arms. There is no shame in coming back to the Father, no stain so dark that Jesus cannot wash it clean. He is not angry with you. He is not disappointed. He is waiting, like a father who sees his child from afar and runs to embrace them before they can even explain. That is how heaven sees you. That is how deeply you are loved. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you are thankful for God's kindness. Many times, the world tells you to be strong, to keep pushing, to numb the pain or hide the tears. But in the arms of God, you don't have to be strong to be accepted. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be willing to turn your heart back toward Him. The very moment you do, angels rejoice, and the chains the enemy tried to wrap around your future begin to break. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. There are moments in life that seem small, ordinary, or forgettable, but heaven sees differently. The choice you make right now, the stirring you feel in your heart, it matters. This is a holy moment, one heaven has waited for. This is not about fear or threats, but about love that will not give up on you, even when darkness tries to claim you. Satan may have spoken your name, but Jesus carries your name engraved on his hands, marked by the sacrifice he made just to make sure you have the chance to come home. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. The world may pull at your attention, filling your days with noise, screens, and endless pressures. But deep within you, there is still a quiet place where your soul knows its true home. You were made to walk with God, not just in eternity, but here and now. Your story isn't over. No matter what you've been through, there is still beauty waiting to unfold, because when Jesus touches a life, he makes it new. Sometimes the enemy tries to convince you that you are forgotten, that your prayers were ignored, or your pain unseen. But that is a lie crafted to pull you away from the one place where your soul can breathe. God has seen every tear, every silent cry in the night, every time you felt alone, and he has not turned away. He is near, even now, whispering to your heart, not to scare you, but to remind you that there is still time to return to his love. This message is not about punishment, but about protection. Heaven is not warning you to shame you, but to shelter you from the trap that Satan has planned. Your name matters too much to be lost in the plans of darkness. You are not forgotten in the crowd. You are not just another face. You are the one Jesus left the 99 for. You are the reason heaven moved today. The path home is not paved with guilt. It is made of grace. All you need to do is say yes in your heart. Say yes to the love that has never let you go. Say yes to the peace your soul has been missing. Say yes to the Savior who died to give you life, not just after death, but here, in every breath, every step, every new day. This is not just another message. This is your moment. Not by chance, not by accident. Heaven saw something. And because your name was mentioned in darkness, it is now being declared in light. The gates of hell tremble when one soul chooses to return to God, and angels are already preparing to celebrate, because one heart turning back changes everything. You don't have to understand everything to begin. You don't have to fix yourself before you return. Just open your heart, even a little, and let the light in. Because he already has, and he's never stopped waiting. Archangel Michael says, "The meeting in the dark, where your name was spoken by the one who opposes all that is holy, was not just a passing conversation, it was a strategy. It was the enemy attempting to mark your destiny with defeat, fear, and silence. But heaven did not sit still. When your name echoed in the shadows, it was heard in the courts of God, where love burns brighter than any darkness, and where mercy never sleeps. That is why you are reading this now. Because love is chasing you. Because grace is calling your name louder than any lie ever spoken against you. You are not alone in this world, even if it has felt that way at times. You have been surrounded by invisible battles, by unseen forces, and by moments where hope felt like a distant light. But I bring this to you now, not to make you afraid, but to remind you that the light has not gone out. The light of Jesus Christ still shines for you. The warmth of God's arms is still open. And no matter how far you feel from him, he is never far from you. Type 1919 to embrace healing. The enemy wants you to believe you are too broken, too lost, too late. But that voice is not your truth. That is the same voice that tried to silence generations of hope, but failed every time Jesus was lifted up. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the total of your pain. You are not forgotten or forsaken. You are a child of the living God, created in His image, loved with a love that doesn't run dry, and held by a Savior who gave everything so you could live freely. When you wake in the morning and feel the weight pressing down on your chest, when you carry burdens you can't speak of to anyone, when the smile you wear feels like a mask hiding a storm inside, God sees. And not only does He see, but He understands. Jesus walked among the hurting. He sat with the rejected. He touched the untouchable. And He didn't wait for anyone to be perfect first. He simply loved them, healed them, forgave them, and called them His. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. There is something sacred about surrender, not because it shows weakness, but because it shows trust. When you open your heart and say, "God, I can't carry this anymore," heaven leans in. Jesus doesn't turn away from your sorrow. He kneels beside you and lifts it with His own hands. And even when you don't have the words to pray, the Holy Spirit prays for you with love too deep for language. You may not see what the enemy planned, but heaven has already intervened. What was spoken in secret is now being revealed in light, not to expose you, but to protect you. This is your wake-up call, not to shame you, but to shake the dust from your spirit and remind you that you belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. You have not been forgotten. You have not gone unnoticed. The angels have watched you with compassion, and the Lord has remembered every cry, every struggle, every moment you almost gave up but didn't. There is still more for you. There are blessings that have not yet been opened. There is healing that has not yet poured out. There is purpose waiting for your yes. There is love that still wants to wrap itself around every part of you that has felt unloved or unwanted. There is a fire in the heart of God that still burns for you, not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. Even now, the plans of darkness are trembling, because this message carries light. And light always wins. The enemy cannot hold what you place into God's hands. So place it. Place your worries, your guilt, your tired heart. Place your past, your fears, your questions. Place your whole life in the hands that were nailed to a cross so yours could be free. And when you do, something shifts in heaven. Something opens. Something beautiful begins. Jesus is not asking for perfection. He is asking for your heart. He is not waiting to punish you. He is waiting to restore you. This is the love story of your life, the one your soul has longed for. It doesn't matter who turned their back on you. God never has. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen. God still reaches down. It doesn't matter how long it's been. Grace is still here, calling your name. Type 222 if you know God is with you. Archangel Michael says, though your name was whispered in secret by the one who sows confusion and despair, it has now been spoken aloud in the light of heaven with fierce, unshakable love. While the enemy gathers shadows and plots loss, God gathers mercy, kindness, and protection around your name like a shield. This isn't just another warning, it's a sacred plea from the heart of God, who has loved you since the beginning, before the first breath filled your lungs, before the world ever called your name. Even before you knew to seek Him, God was near. He walked beside you in the silence. He stayed through the nights when fear crept in like a cold wind, and no one else noticed the pain hidden behind your quiet smile. You may have thought you were walking alone, but every step you took was watched with deep care. Heaven has followed your story with tenderness, not watching for you to fall, but waiting for the moment your heart would turn back toward the arms that have never once closed to you. There is a beauty in God's patience that the world will never understand. In this world, people walk away. Love can feel like a passing flame. But the love of the Father is steady. It does not tire. It does not give up. It does not stop calling out, even when you feel too far gone to be called back. And right now, that love is calling you, not with shouts or pressure, but with a whisper that knows your soul, with a warmth that can melt through any wall you've had to build to survive. The enemy had a plan to make you forget who you are. He wanted you to settle for less, to live weighed down by what others did or what you couldn't change. But you were never made for chains. You were never meant to live beneath shame or fear or regret. You were created in love, for love, to walk in light. And even if the path has been broken, even if it's covered in scars and sorrow, the moment you turn your face toward God, a new way begins to open. A road made not of perfection, but of grace. There is something sacred in knowing that even now, even with everything you've faced, there is still more ahead. There is still healing that can reach the oldest wounds. There is still joy that can rise from ashes. There is still peace waiting in the quiet places of your heart, waiting to flood every corner that's felt empty for too long. And Jesus, gentle, loving, faithful Jesus, is ready to walk with you through it all. Not behind you. Not watching from far off. But right beside you, steady and kind. Sometimes the deepest healing begins when we stop running. Not because we've figured everything out, but because we finally realize we don't have to. You don't have to fix yourself to be welcomed home. You don't need to prove your worth. You were already worth everything to Him, so much that He chose the cross, knowing what it would cost, just to make sure nothing could stand between you and heaven. This isn't a story about punishment. This is a story about redemption. The enemy may have tried to define you by your failures, but God defines you by His love. Your past may hold sorrow, but your future can still bloom with promise. The enemy may have held a secret meeting, but God has made a public declaration: you are His. Not temporarily. Not conditionally. Fully. Forever. Heaven rejoices over every single heart that turns back, no matter how long it's been lost. And even if you feel like your light has gone out, even if you feel like nothing good can come from where you've been, remember this: God is the one who creates beauty from dust. He speaks life into dry bones. He writes hope into the chapters we thought were over. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. Let this be the moment where everything starts to change. Let this be the turning point, not because of pressure, but because something inside you knows this love is real. There is a softness in God's voice that no darkness can silence. There is a power in Jesus' love that no chain can resist. You may feel small in the face of your battles, but you are not alone. You are surrounded by angels. You are covered in prayer. You are the reason for this message. Let the enemy's meeting come to nothing. Let his schemes fail. Because when you rise in the love of Christ, when you say yes to the grace freely given, no darkness can hold what heaven has claimed. This is your time. You are not too late. You are not too far. You are being called home, not to be judged, but to be embraced. Archangel Michael says, when your name was spoken in that hidden place where evil plans are formed, it was not forgotten, it was not ignored. It was brought before the courts of heaven with a gravity that only love could carry. God, who never sleeps, heard the schemes against your soul, and instead of responding with wrath, he responded with a deeper call, a sacred summons to draw you back before it is too late. This is not a threat. This is mercy in its most powerful form, wrapped in warning, driven by a love that will not lose you without a fight. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. There is a reason you are reading these words. It is not by mistake, not by coincidence, and certainly not by accident. Heaven has aligned this moment in time to reach you, not just to tell you that danger is near, but to tell you that deliverance is closer. You may feel the weight of life pressing in from every side, disappointments, silent pain, regrets that follow you like shadows, but none of that is stronger than the love of Jesus Christ, who is standing with open arms, ready to break every chain and lead you into peace that cannot be shaken. The truth is, there are spiritual forces that try to keep you numb, distracted, overwhelmed, or too tired to care. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you all at once, he only wants you to drift so slowly that you don't notice how far you've moved from the light. But today, heaven is sounding the alarm. Not because you are lost, but because you are still able to be found. Because your name carries purpose. Because your heart still matters deeply to the God who created it. You may have lived through years of pain, carrying things no one else knew about. You may have smiled through the hardest seasons, convincing yourself that surviving was enough. But surviving is not all you were made for. You were made to live fully, deeply, joyfully, in the presence of a Father who sees you, loves you, and still believes in you. And even if your faith feels broken, even if your heart feels cold or distant, Jesus is close. He is not watching you from a distance. He is here, even now, inviting you to let go of the weight and simply let Him hold you. There is a story unfolding, and you are still a part of it. There are pages yet to be written, ones filled with healing, restoration, and the kind of love that speaks softly but carries eternity in its tone. Jesus never forces His way into your life. He waits, gently, but faithfully, offering you the choice to turn toward Him. And when you do, even just a little, He runs to meet you. There is no shame in coming home. There is only celebration. There is only love. Let this be the moment when the lies lose their grip. Let this be the hour when fear begins to fall away. The enemy may have tried to twist your path, to wear you down so slowly you forgot how to hope, but he did not win. Because right here, right now, your name is being restored in light. God is rewriting what darkness tried to define. What the enemy meant for harm, God is already preparing to redeem for good. Type 1616 if you surrender to God's will. You do not have to earn this love. You only have to receive it. You do not have to prove you are worthy. You are already worth everything to Jesus. The blood He shed was not for crowds, it was for individuals, for you, for the one reading these words, for the soul the enemy wanted to silence. But God says no. God says you are still chosen. You are still His. Let the noise of the world fade for a moment. Let the fear quiet down. Let the pressure lift. And listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. There is a whisper, steady and true, saying, "Come to me. Rest in me. Trust me." That voice is not asking for perfection. It is offering peace. It is offering a new beginning. One that starts not with answers, but with surrender. And in that surrender, in that holy letting go, the power of God begins to move. Not with flashing lights or shouts, but with the soft strength that calms storms and heals wounds no one else can see. This is your moment to begin again. Not by earning, but by opening. Not by fear, but by faith. A little faith is all it takes to shift everything. Type Amen if your heart belongs to God, and share this video with 7 faithful friends to receive His blessings and miracles. Archangel Michael says, the enemy thought the secret meeting would go unnoticed, that his plan to pull your heart away from God would happen in silence, in the background of your busy life, in the noise of your struggles and the distractions that never seem to end. But heaven saw it all. And what the enemy planned to do quietly, God has now answered loudly, not with thunder, but with love, not with fear, but with truth. That truth is simple and powerful. You still belong to God, and no scheme of the enemy can ever erase that. There is a kind of battle happening that cannot be seen with the eyes, but your heart has felt it. The moments of heaviness that come without warning, the sudden doubts that make you feel distant from God, the quiet voice that tells you you're not enough, that you've messed up too many times, that it's too late to turn around, none of that comes from heaven. It comes from the one who wants to keep you from the arms of the one who loves you most. But Jesus does not speak in shame. He speaks in restoration. He does not look at you with disappointment. He looks at you with love that sees past every mistake, through every wound, and still says, "You are mine." That is the kind of love the enemy fears most. Not a love that is earned, but a love that is freely given. A love that covers, heals, and lifts. A love that doesn't flinch at your pain or turn away from your mess. A love that walks straight into the middle of your brokenness and stays. When heaven saw your name mentioned, there was no panic, only purpose. There was no anger, only action. You matter too much to be left to the plans of darkness. And while you may have wandered, while life may have pulled you away or worn you down, the heart of God has never moved from you. He has watched every step, every struggle, and He has been waiting, not with crossed arms, but with open ones. With mercy. With tenderness. With hope that never gave up. There is a warmth in the love of God that this world cannot offer. It reaches deeper than any comfort. It speaks to the parts of you that no one sees, the parts you don't talk about, the places in your soul that feel too heavy or too ashamed. And still, Jesus reaches in. Still, He calls you His. Still, He invites you to rest, to return, to believe again that something beautiful can come from your life, even if you don't yet see how. Type 2020 to claim joy and strength. You may be tired, not just in body, but in spirit. Life can wear you down. People can hurt you. Time can make you feel forgotten. But you are not forgotten. You have been remembered in heaven. You have been spoken of not in judgment, but in love. And now, God is calling to you, not with pressure, not with force, but with a kindness that melts fear and lifts the soul. You are still chosen. You are still wanted. You are still a part of something far greater than you can imagine. Don't let the enemy convince you that you've missed your chance. With God, there is always another chance. There is always a way forward. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to understand everything. You only have to take one step toward Jesus, and He will come running the rest of the way. That's what grace does. That's what love looks like when it comes from the heart of God. This moment matters. Not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it is real. It is sacred. It is heaven reaching into your life and saying, I see you. I know you. I love you. Come home. There is nothing in your past that disqualifies you from that love. Nothing so broken that He cannot mend it. Nothing so lost that He cannot find it. The enemy wanted your name to be a signal of defeat. But heaven has declared your name with hope, with purpose, with love that does not fade. And in that declaration, there is a promise. Not that the road will be easy, but that you will never again walk it alone. God is not far. He is close. He is calling. And He is waiting to restore what you thought was gone forever. Let your heart soften again. Let your spirit breathe. Let Jesus bring peace where there has been restlessness, healing where there has been hurt, and newness where there has been despair. You are not beyond His reach. You never were. He is the shepherd who leaves the 99 just to find you. And now He has. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. Archangel Michael says, "The enemy's whispers were quiet, woven with subtlety and deceit, yet heaven caught every word, every scheme, every shadow." Your name was not just a target, it was a threat to darkness. Because even with all you've been through, even with every moment you've doubted or struggled, there is still something powerful inside you that hell cannot touch, the image of God, the breath of Christ, the spark of divine purpose that has never been extinguished. The enemy does not gather his forces around someone without meaning. He does not conspire against empty things. He plots against those marked by heaven. And you have been marked, not by what this world says about you, not by what you've lost, not by what you've done, but by the love of God that called you by name long before you ever knew to call on Him. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are not beyond reach. You are held, deeply and gently, by the one who formed you and still believes in you. Sometimes it's hard to see that. Life can bury truth beneath hardship. People fail us. Hope slips through our fingers. And we learn to expect little, to survive instead of live, to settle for moments of relief instead of lasting peace. But God is not offering you something temporary. He is offering you Himself. Not a version of Him shaped by fear or rules, but the true heart of Jesus, kind, patient, strong, full of grace, never giving up on you, never walking away. Type 111 if you believe miracles are near. Heaven responded to that secret meeting not with fury, but with rescue. This message is part of that rescue. Every word is a hand reaching into your storm, not to force you, but to lift you. To remind you that you still matter. To show you that even now, right now, you are being pursued by a love that knows no limits. This isn't a call to religion. This isn't about guilt. This is about healing. Real, soul-deep, life-changing healing that only Jesus can bring. You may have heard of Him, believed in Him, even loved Him once, but somewhere along the way, things got quiet. You got tired. Maybe you drifted. Maybe you shut your heart down to protect it. Maybe you were wounded by things that shouldn't have happened. But even if you walked away, Jesus never stopped walking toward you. He never turned His face. He never looked at you with condemnation. He waited. And He is still waiting, not with disappointment, but with longing. Longing to remind you of who you are. Longing to carry what's been crushing you. Longing to bring light where it's been dark for too long. There's no shame in being weary. There's no shame in not having it all figured out. Jesus never asked for strength, He offers it. He never demanded perfection, He gives grace instead. And when He speaks your name, He doesn't do it with frustration. He speaks it with love that aches to see you whole again. And that's what He wants, for you to be whole. Not just fixed on the outside, not just patched up for a day or two, but truly whole in your soul, steady in your heart, filled again with peace. There is a rest that comes when you stop trying to carry everything alone. There is a stillness that rises when you let God take the weight. And He wants to take it. Not because you are weak, but because you were never meant to do this without Him. You were created for closeness with God. Everything else will fall short. But in His presence, even in silence, there is healing. In His nearness, wounds begin to mend. In His love, you begin to remember who you were always meant to be. The enemy wanted you to forget. To believe your worth was tied to your success, your past, your pain. But God has never once defined you by those things. He defines you by His love. By His Son. By His promise that you are His, and nothing can change that unless you choose to turn away. And even then, even if you've wandered far, He will follow you to the edge of your darkness and still say, "Come home." This message is a door. Not one you need to earn, not one that leads to rules or pressure, but one that leads to peace. One that leads to light. One that leads to the kind of love that stays no matter what. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to open your heart a little. Even just a crack. And Jesus will enter with gentleness, with truth, with hope that doesn't fade when the world grows heavy. Archangel Michael says, "The meeting in darkness where your name was spoken was not the beginning of your story. It was only the enemy's desperate attempt to interrupt what God has always planned for you." Your life, no matter how bruised or broken it may feel, was never meant to end in despair. You were created in love, for love, and by love. The very breath you draw now is a reminder that you still have time, that the gates of mercy are still open, and that heaven has not closed its heart to you, not now, not ever. Type Amen to trust God's plan for your life. The enemy hoped that pain would harden you, that sorrow would silence your prayers, that weariness would steal your hope. But you are still here. And that means the story is not over. That means God is still writing, still weaving, still calling. You may not see the full picture yet, but every step toward Him opens a little more light. Every whisper of surrender invites deeper healing. Every tear cried in silence has already been caught by the hands of your Savior. There is no shame in needing healing. There is no guilt in longing for rest. Jesus Himself was a man of sorrow, familiar with grief, yet full of grace and truth. He does not turn away from the broken, He kneels beside them. He does not hide from your wounds, He touches them with compassion. The world may tell you to toughen up, to hide your hurt, to press on no matter how empty you feel inside, but the love of Jesus speaks differently. He invites you to rest. To lay it all down. To let Him carry what's been too heavy for too long. And oh, how gently He carries. Not with frustration. Not with conditions. But with the same hands that calmed storms, held children, and bore the nails of the cross. Those hands are reaching for you now, not to pull you into pressure, but to lead you into peace. A peace not based on circumstances, not rooted in control, but grounded in His presence. When you walk with Jesus, even the storms sound different. Even the silence feels full. Even the waiting is no longer wasted. You may not feel worthy. You may feel like too much time has passed, too much has been broken. But none of that frightens God. He is not overwhelmed by your past. He is not discouraged by your weakness. He is the God who makes all things new, even the parts of you that you thought were beyond repair. Especially those parts. The places you hide, the wounds you cover, the memories that haunt you, He sees them all, and He does not turn away. He moves closer. Always closer. The enemy may have spoken your name in secret, but Jesus has spoken your name in sacrifice. On the cross, He thought of you, not in a distant, vague way, but personally, deeply, intimately. He bore your pain, your shame, your fears, so you would never have to walk through them alone. That is the kind of love this world cannot offer. That is the kind of love no darkness can compete with. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. You are being called home, not to a place, but to a person. To the heart of God, where you are already fully known and still fully wanted. There's no need to pretend. There's no need to perform. You don't need to clean yourself up before coming. You only need to come as you are, tired, afraid, confused, hurting, hopeful. However you are right now, that is enough. That is all God needs to begin a work in you that will restore what was lost, mend what was broken, and awaken what was buried. Let yourself believe again. Let yourself hope. Let yourself receive the kind of love that never walks away, never grows cold, never stops pursuing. There is healing waiting for you. There is comfort prepared for your heart. There is purpose still blooming, even in this very moment. Because the one who holds your future is not uncertain. He is not distant. He is closer than your next breath, and He is not finished with you. Your name is not cursed. It is not condemned. It is not forgotten. It is carried in the heart of the one who made the stars and still chose the cross, just for you. The enemy wanted to write the ending of your story. But heaven has already claimed the final word. And that word is love. Type 3030 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. Archangel Michael says, in that hidden gathering where your name was spoken by the one who brings confusion and despair, there was one intention: to stop you. To crush your spirit so quietly that you wouldn't even notice the shift happening in your soul. The enemy did not scream, he whispered. He sowed lies disguised as your own thoughts, hoping you'd believe them. You're not enough. You've gone too far. God is silent now. But heaven heard it all, and more importantly, heaven refused to stay silent. God responded, not with thunder or wrath, but with this gentle outpouring of truth and mercy, this moment now reaching into the quiet corners of your heart where no one else sees. That place in you that has ached for something deeper, for something true, for something that doesn't disappear when the world lets you down, this is where God is speaking. And He's not calling you back with guilt. He's calling you with love that still believes in your name. There is a softness in the way Jesus draws near. He does not force. He does not shout. He waits with arms wide open, patient and steady, letting you come when your heart is ready. But make no mistake, He never left. Even when you wandered, even when you doubted, even when you chose the wrong road, He followed you. Quietly. Constantly. Holding you up in moments you didn't know He was there. That is the kind of love your soul was created for. And that is the love the enemy tried to block from your view. You may have been through things that left scars. Words spoken to you or about you that still echo. Failures that hang in the background of your mind like unfinished songs. Grief that changed you. But the beauty of Jesus is that He meets you right in the middle of all of it. He doesn't demand that you leave your pain at the door. He comes into it, sits beside you in it, and begins to gently restore what was broken. Not in a moment, not with pressure, but with a grace that holds you as long as it takes. There is no part of your story that disqualifies you from this love. Not the mistakes. Not the silence. Not the distance you felt between you and God. If anything, it's that very distance that He wants to close. Because closeness with God isn't about religion or rules, it's about relationship. And relationships are built on trust, on presence, on time spent in honesty and grace. Jesus isn't waiting for you to come with answers. He's waiting for you to come with your heart. Right now, heaven is making room for you again. The kind of room that welcomes the weary, that comforts the broken, that restores the lost. The enemy may have spoken your name in accusation, but God speaks it in belonging. You belong. You are not too far. You are not too late. There is still so much more ahead. Your name was not meant to end in defeat, it was meant to be written in the Lamb's book of life, held there forever by the one who gave everything to call you His. When you open your heart to Him again, even in the smallest way, it's like a light being turned on inside of you. Not all at once, but little by little, peace begins to return. You begin to see that you were never forgotten. That there was always a plan. That your tears mattered. That heaven didn't give up. The angels have watched you with love, not judgment. They've seen every step and every tear, and they've waited for this moment with joy, because this is the beginning of a return that has been prayed over from the beginning. Type I believe if you believe miracles are on the way. You were made for more than survival. You were made to walk in joy, in wholeness, in the quiet strength of knowing you are safe in the arms of a Savior who does not change. The world will shift. People will disappoint. Even your own heart will struggle. But Jesus remains. Steady. Gentle. Unmoving in His love for you. And He is offering you, even now, the kind of healing that runs deeper than your pain. Let this be a sacred turning. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just real. A quiet decision in your soul to say yes again. Yes to love. Yes to hope. Yes to the one who has always been with you. Even if it's just a whisper, it's enough. He will meet you there. He will hold you through it. And He will carry you forward. Archangel Michael says, the enemy's plan was never just about fear, it was about identity. When your name was mentioned in that hidden meeting of darkness, it was not just an attack on your future, it was a full attempt to erase who you truly are in the eyes of God. But heaven stepped in, not with violence, not with chaos, but with truth. And that truth is this: you are still God's child. You are still known. You are still claimed by a love that cannot be rewritten, replaced, or revoked. The enemy tried to make you forget. He used discouragement, delays, rejection, silence, and suffering to try and make you believe that you were no longer worthy, no longer seen, no longer loved. But none of that ever changed how God sees you. And it never changed the name He calls you by: beloved, chosen, redeemed, and His. There is a quiet war over the way you see yourself. And too often, the noise of this world becomes louder than the voice of God. But even when you stopped listening, He never stopped speaking. He has been whispering truth over you, patiently waiting for your heart to hear again. Truth that says you are not forgotten. That your story still matters. That even when you feel like a mess, He sees a masterpiece in the making. You were never meant to live hidden in shame or wrapped in the opinions of others. You were created to walk in the light, to stand in freedom, to live with boldness not rooted in pride, but in love. Love gives you the right to rise. Love gives you the strength to begin again. And that love is not weak or fleeting, it is the same love that raised Jesus from the grave, and it is living and present right now, right here, for you. It doesn't matter what others have spoken over you. It doesn't matter what your past holds. What matters is what God has spoken, and He has said you are His. He has said you are worth it. He has said there is more for you than what you've seen so far. He has said the wounds can heal. The heart can beat again. The soul can breathe. And the life you thought was lost can still bloom with beauty and purpose. Heaven knows who you are. Heaven has always known. And even though you may have forgotten your identity beneath the weight of trying to survive, even though you've questioned if you've been disqualified, God has never once changed His mind about you. You are not a mistake. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are His, and that has never stopped being true. Type 222 if you trust that God is with you always. There is something holy about returning to who you really are. Not who the world told you to be. Not who your pain tried to shape you into. But the real you. The one who was dreamed up by God Himself. The one knit together with purpose. The one covered by grace, wrapped in mercy, and destined for light. You don't have to search the world for that identity. You find it in the quiet, when you look toward Jesus and let Him remind you of what's always been. The enemy may have tried to steal your name, but heaven has engraved it. It is not fading. It is not erased. It is not tossed aside. It is spoken daily by the one who intercedes for you.